G2, a team that has been around forever, going all the way back to when they picked up iBuyPal's team back in 2016. And this team's had varying success over the years. As of last season, they placed top 4 in their region, having to fight through wildcard. Having a nice looking performance towards the end, their run did come to an end in the quarterfinals. Now, in the 2024 season, they have picked up 2 new players to go alongside Atomic, the feared duo, Daniel and Beast Mode. This seemed like a no-brainer move for G2, and you will see why. But with this new roster, G2 are back in winning form, taking back-to-back open qualifiers. And it doesn't even look close. Absolute domination over every team. I mean, they haven't even dropped a series. Today, I want to take a little dive into their gameplay to get a good look at why this team is so dominant. To do this, we'll look at both their grand finals. Their first finals was against Gen G. Now, Gen G are no slouch. They were predicted to get the #1 seed for NA by most people. But G2 are here to prove why that is simply not going to happen. In their first game, it stayed even for a while, but it was clear G2 were in control, and that eventually led to a goal.
Atomic is a major champion, but that's that world championship that everyone's got their eye on.
This was just from relentless pressure that Gen G just couldn't deal with. Gen G got caught off their mark, pushing too far upfield, and G2 score on a seemingly open net.
Is that it? That's in. It's in. Oh my.
Here, G2 have one man chasing the last back as the other beats it past both defenders, which with quite a lucky pinch to be fair, but I think it is likely Beast Mode had some intention to hit that towards the net, as he knows it is open at this time. Chronic does get a nice goal, but it means nothing, and G2 win 3-1. This game, Gen G just pushed upfield way too much, and G2 could abuse that to get a comfortable win. And in the second game, it's just the same constant pressure. Gen G aren't leaving their half, and eventually it's a goal out for G2. Even when they do have a little breakout from their half and win the ball upfield, Chronic's shot is saved spectacularly by G2. Gen G do hold some pressure for a while here, but G2 were a brick wall, not letting anything through, and it goes back to their half. And as soon as it's there, it's almost immediately a goal for G2. Even being on low boost, they just beat Gen G to every ball, and that's a trend throughout this whole series. G2 weren't invincible, however, as they do have a bad double commit, and Gen G get a free goal off of it. But it wouldn't be enough. Even trying bump seems useless. There's just another defender to take it away from G2, and G2 get another win. Even though the score says 2-1, it felt a lot more in favor of G2. It's feeling like a beatdown. Off of losing 2 games, Gen G call a timeout. Game 2, the timeout does not seem to help Gen G, as G2 read them in and out, intercepting passes, beating them to balls. They are just purely dominating Gen G right now. Beast Mode especially had a brilliant series, beating and intercepting so many balls to keep pressure on Gen G. And technically he scored this. Technically. Due to Gen G just panic clearing the ball out and a nice fake from Beast Mode. They catch Gen G off guard and again scored an open net. And I don't even want to talk about this goal. They win another and have just one more game to sweep Gen G. And with what seems like a nice play at the start of the game, quickly went out of Gen G's hands back to their half. Off another counter attack and a free ball in the mid, Atomic can slot yet another open net. With more and more pressure coming Gen G's way, Atomic manages to get a somewhat lucky double and catch them off guard to allow Daniel to get a free goal. But finally we see some life from Gen G with a nice play from apparently Jack to assist First Killer and get them back within 1. G2 though just wouldn't let goals in with some solid defense, and they end up getting another due to a miss from Chronic. The game is over. G2 have swept Gen G. Now Gen G weren't playing their best this series, however I think a lot of it was still G2 forcing those mistakes with the overwhelming pressure that they have. Now this was already enough for people to say that G2 was the best in NA, however we have another game to see if they hold that 2 qualifiers in a row streak. Now, in the second open qualifiers, they face Luminosity in the finals. Partially because in the semis, G2 got to dominate Gen G once again. But Gen G did get a game, so if they keep this up, they'll beat them soon. But anyways, Luminosity consists of Rettles, Magic Bear, and Cheese, a very high level team in NA. Game 1, it didn't take long for them to score, getting a pass mid, and it was all too simple from Beast Mode. And then another not long after. They seem to have this ability to make every defense crumble around them. But Luminosity aren't out, they still have a nice offense. I've especially liked what I've seen from Cheese so far. And he scores here to close the scoreline.
Goal line defense is like a wall sometimes, but Magic Bear!
But they couldn't get any more, and it's a G2 win. They seem to have this ability to keep games close, but still look comfortable enough to get the win. After a bad miss and a bump on his teammate, Atomic looks like he's throwing, and Cheese gets a free goal. Bit of an uncommon mistake from G2. Daniel here knows his teammate's close and just keeps the ball in a scoring position, and Atomic can then make up for his mistakes and tie the game. But with another mistake, there's a double commit and a failed clear that gives Cheese another free goal.
G2, they've been able to capitalize on.
And Luminosity just kept firing with a lovely demo pass into a dunk from Magic Bear to get a comfortable lead in this game. This might have had people thinking maybe this series will be close, but G2 weren't having it. And who else but Beast Mode slams a ball from his box into Luminosity's net to make this comeback possible. And right off kickoff, they slot it in the net to tie the game. And just like that, Luminosity have lost control of this game. And with a double fumble from Luminosity's defense, the ball just walks into the net. G2 win again. It seems they were given this one. Luminosity will call a timeout, but can it save them from what is G2? As Daniel forces a beautiful own goal from Rettles. Just spectacular. Luminosity's timeout seems to have not worked in their favor, and that mixed with their poor defense will ensure their timeout was worthless, as G2 win game 3. One more game win to sweep another team in the finals. Luminosity are here though to show they haven't lost all fight and bag one goal, but just over 10 seconds later, G2 get a pretty low effort goal. Luminosity come back however with a nice redirect pass from Magic Bear. Luminosity's offense is looking a lot better than their defense right now, and they get another to go 3-1 up. Surely not again, right? Luminosity says no as they get a game in the series to avoid being swept. A glimmer of hope, but G2, they don't like that and snap back in game 5 to close out the series.
They're efficient on the free shot. Chance here for Beast Mode, and the Beast strikes. Luminosity have to start making the most of their chances here because G2 are going to strike hot to get the save out. Beast Mode again picking up the ball, has Atomic midfield, plays it low.
And Beast Mode and this version of G2 been record. They're up there around 85%.
Winning 6-2 in the last game, G2 Stride have just casually walked into another championship. Now clearly there's a skill gap here between G2 and everyone else in NA. I think G2's success comes mainly from their relentless pressure. To be able to force these mistakes from these high level teams isn't easy. And also G2's defense is unmatched. It feels like even when one player fails to clear a ball, there's someone else there to back them up. And it just creates this solid team. Now, I just want to know how they'll fare against teams in EU. Honestly, I think they'll struggle to be even top 4 in EU, but I'd love to be proven wrong. I love this team, and I want to see them keep this skill level. That's all for today, however. Make sure to follow my socials, and I'll see you in the next one.